Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be reviewing Fiends by Nicholas Gray, aka Spooky Noodles. He has a whole channel on YouTube. He is a fellow booktuber. I will link his channel down below, and I would highly recommend that you check out his videos. He is awesome. He's a really laid back and cool guy who reads mostly horror, and he is really into coming of age stories as well. I knew that he had written several novellas and novels and short stories, and I got this one on my Kindle a while ago, and I had an opportunity to read it because I didn't have anything else to read, and it was raining when I was going out to work on that day, and I didn't want to bring a physical book with me, so I bought my Kindle and I read this book. I knew it was by Nicholas or Spooky Noodles. So I also knew it was really short. It's only 30 pages long, so I thought I would give it a go. And the genre of this book is a science fiction horror novel. I didn't tell Nicholas about that I was actually going to be reading this book, but I did comment on one of his videos saying that I did read it. He didn't ask me to. I just read it because I wanted something quick and simple to read during one day. So as always, this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and this is going to be my own thoughts and feelings regarding this story. So this story focuses around our main character called Ryan, who is a 14-year-old boy, and his adopted black brother called Mikey, who is 10. Mikey was abandoned, I think, by his birth parents, and Ryan's parents adopted him. It is said in the book that Ryan and Mikey, because they both look different and they are brothers, they are bullied for that. It isn't gone into super detail, it's only just touched on very briefly. But Ryan is extremely caring and loving towards his brother. That's his main focus, is to protect and care for his younger brother. And yeah, it's very commendable, it's very sweet, and that's his character trait, and it's a good character trait to actually have. Anyway, one night Brian and Mikey sneak out of their house to meet up in a field where it has all this I don't think it's corn, I think it's more like a cereal field where it has all these like long cereal vines. I'm not sure what they're called. More or less like a cornfield. And they are meeting up with a group of friends called Corey, Matt, and Steve. I can't remember much about these characters. They kind of felt like padding for the story. Like this story needed more than two characters. They are fine characters, but because of the length, none of these characters, including the main ones, aren't really much fleshed out. It's only like the bare minimum of what you need to know about them. Although you do care about them as well as the story goes on, which is important. As far as I'm aware, Corey is the skinny one. He's tall and lanky, as what is described in the book. I think Matt is either the funny one or Steve is the funny one. I'm not sure about them. We don't spend a lot of time with them, as they are in this field to do what is called flash tag. I mean, it's like a like a game with a flashlight, where they are basically it's basically a hide and seek, but in the dark room with flashlights. Like if you shine the light on someone in the dark, they are basically caught. That is basically what they in this field to actually do, is to actually play a game with each other in the dark. And this game is called flashlight tag. I thought that it was more like where they chase each other around the fields and with flashlights. Thought that was kind of weird. We don't have anything like that over here in the UK. But if you have never heard of it, it explains quite well in the book if you aren't familiar with that game. Anyway, they split up because they've got to actually do in this game. Mikey goes off with I can't remember who it is. I think it's Steven. I'm not sure. One of the other guys. And he tells Ryan that, oh yeah, don't worry, I will look after Mikey and nothing will happen to him and all that type of stuff. And Ryan is the one that has to count and try to find all these kids in this field. But what it is, they are not alone in this field. No. There is a creature who is an alien, and we find out, and the reason why we know it's an alien is because at the start of this book, in the acknowledgements page, Nicholas himself specifies that this creature is an alien. So even before we get to page 1, even before we read a single word of this book, we know what this creature is, that it's a alien. Also, fun fact as well, if you are a fan of Dark Between Pages, Nikki from Dark Between Pages, she is mentioned in the acknowledgements page. Just wanted to mention that. Anyway, this alien is in this field, and it has 4 arms. It is grotesque. It has its messed up face, and it has sharp teeth, and it is always smiling. It's always laughing and smiling at these kids, and it's there to basically hunt them down and to kill them in very gory and graphic ways. If you are against gore, if you are very faint of heart when it comes to blood, guts, gore, people getting ripped open and torn apart and killed in graphic and gory ways, then maybe give this one a miss. But I love the gore. It was like detailed enough that I could actually picture what's happening in my mind. But it was so good. It was really fun. And the whole story is Ryan and his kids basically have to survive this alien attack, or this alien that's in this field. Yeah, it's basically like a survival story. Can they escape this? Can they defeat the alien? What will actually happen to them? The ending, as always, I don't spoil endings on this channel, but the ending, if you're one of these readers which like to have the ending like tied up in a nice little bow and have all the little plot points resolved, you aren't going to get this in this book. This is a very morbid book. The ending is a very satisfying ending when you sit back and put the book down and think about it. It is a novella, so it's supposed to give you a taste of this. I would really love it if Nicholas wrote an actual novel of this book, that maybe like a sequel about what actually happened. Maybe these characters grew up and what happens to them in the future. I would really love to know. So if you're watching this, Nicholas, please get on that, mate. I would really love to actually read a 300 to maybe 400 page book about what happens to these kids after these events in this novel or this novella. Really good. The ending, as I said, really fantastic. I really enjoyed it so much. It's not going to please everyone. There are going to be people that are going to read the ending and be like, it can't end like that. I want to know more. I need to know more about what actually happens. I need a few more pages to actually know what happens. I need this. I basically need more meat on the bone. But to be honest with you guys, that was my feelings for the first 5 minutes when I got to the page. I was like, it ended there. Okay, fine. But you know, when I put the book down, thought about it, I was thinking, okay, it's a really nice morbid ending. If you're into horror, if you are into science fiction, if you are into both them genres put together, I would read this book. It is fun. It is enjoyable. There wasn't a single page of this book that I didn't like. Every single page, every single sentence is great. Is this book perfect? No, it isn't. But it is a very fun and quick read if you are looking to actually read something in a day, or maybe you are traveling to work and you want something really fun and simple to read. This is great to actually read, because I think this is I don't think that he's self-published, but there is some spelling and punctuation mistakes in this book. So if you are so if that's going to be one of your pet peeves, then be warned about that. But it didn't affect the story for me whatsoever. I knew what was going on, so it was a really, really fun experience. I cannot recommend this book more, guys. Go and read it. It is so good. And if you didn't like it, then it's no massive loss, because it's only 30 pages long and it's not going to take up a lot of your time. So what I liked about this book, as I said, the gore is so great. The characters are so good, even though because of the length of this novella, I know that Nicholas loves coming of age stories, and he probably thinks that this is a coming of age story, but for me, we need a few more extra pages in order to spend more time with these characters, in order for them to go through a character arc. These characters were great. They were really good, and for that I cared about what happened to these characters. Fair enough, I didn't really care about what happened to Corey, Matt and Stephen. Maybe if he wrote a few, about 10 extra pages where Ryan and Mike, or Mikey, spent time with these characters in their school, then maybe I would have felt a bit more sympathy and felt something for these characters when the alien was attacking them. But definitely Ryan and Mikey I cared for so much, and the story was so atmospheric and really dark. If you are very spooked out by horror novels rather, try not to read this one at night. But yeah, I actually loved it. It was so fun. As I said, it wasn't perfect, but it was so much fun to read. So now I come to what I disliked about this book. Because it's a novella, because it's only 30 pages long, as I said, it gives us a very limited amount of time that we have with these characters. Despite if I liked them or if I thought that they were simply okay. And I would have liked, we don't have enough time in this world. We don't have enough time in the school or in the town. Most of this book is set in this field at night. We don't spend a lot of time with the parents of Mikey and Ryan. It's mostly set on the kids. But as I said, because it's a novella, we only have a limited amount of space in this book. But is this story perfect? Is this novella perfect? No, it isn't. No book or no novella is perfect, apart from The Stand by Stephen King. I would have loved it if this was fleshed out. Once again, I would love it so much if there was a follow-up novel, like a sequel, for when these kids grew up into maybe like their 20s or something, and what happens in their lives after the events of this novella. That would be so good to read, and what happens to their lives and how they cope with what happens in the events from this novella. That would be so interesting to read. I would really love that so much. So once again, Nicholas, please get on that, buddy. I would really appreciate that. But if not, that's okay too. So what I'm going to rate Field of Fiends by Nicholas Gray is a 4 stars out of 5, and that is purely based on the size of this novella. I would really preferred it if this was maybe 100 pages, and we spent more time with the kids and in their school and in this town, and spent more time with Corey, Matt and Stephen. and it would have been more fleshed out. But for what it is, I really enjoyed it. So that's it, guys. That is my review on Field of Fiends by Nicholas Gray. Once again, I will have his channel down below. His channel name is called Spooky Noodles. So please check out his videos, and please subscribe to him. He didn't ask me to read this. I just read it off my own bat. If you have read this, let me know what you thought about it. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, what you thought about the characters, what you thought about the atmosphere, the gore, the alien, all that lovely great stuff. I would love to get your opinions, and we can have a discussion about it down below. If you do go into spoilers, just put spoiler and then type out what you want to say, but try and make it as spoiler free as you can. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below, subscribe if you are new. If you do subscribe, please click on that bell so it just reminds you about whenever I upload videos, which are every Monday and Friday. And I will also have a link down below to my Goodreads account as always. And with all that out of the way, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.